Okay, so there is this story that many people believe about how European scholars rediscovered ancient Greek and Roman texts in the 13th century, which led to the European Renaissance. But what if I told you that it was actually Muslim scholars who saved these texts, and also made some incredible discovery themselves? Well, buckle up, because today we are talking about the Muslim scholars who saved ancient knowledge. It is to the lasting credit of Muslim scholars that they didn't just preserve Greek and Roman thought, but built upon it, making new discoveries in science, mathematics, astronomy, and philosophy, all while building their own magnificent culture. The Muslim Golden Age, also called the Islamic Renaissance, took place between the 8th and 14th centuries, during which Muslim scholars collected, preserved, translated, and expanded on the scientific and philosophical knowledge of ancient Greece and Rome, laying the foundation for much of what we know today. This is significant because it prevented the loss of ancient knowledge and facilitated its transmission to later civilizations, including the Europeans. So let's break it down and see how this happened. Starting with number 1, they kept it real. In the early days of Islam, Muslims were a minority group living under the rule of the Byzantine Empire and the Sassanid Empire. Both empires had been heavily influenced by Greek culture, and many of its texts were available in Greek. When Muhammad died in 632 CE, the Muslim community started expanding and soon controlled lands from Spain to Central Asia. This meant that Muslims came into possession of Greek manuscripts, some of which were hundreds of years old. At first, some Muslims saw Greek philosophy as decadent paganism, and there were even book burnings. But by the 8th century, many Muslim scholars began translating Greek texts into Arabic. This was partly due to the efforts of Caliph Harun al-Rashid, best known as the original Shahrazada of 1001 Nights, who set up a library in Baghdad and encouraged the translation of scientific texts from various languages. It was during this time that the House of Wisdom, or Dar al-Hekmah, was established in Baghdad around 780 CE, serving as a center for scholars and a place where books from all over the world were collected and translated. Under the Abbasid Caliphate, the Muslim world became incredibly diverse and cosmopolitan. Many non-Muslims lived within Muslim states and interacted with Muslims on a daily basis. For example, there was a thriving Jewish community in Muslim Spain, known as Al-Andalus, and Muslim scholars often worked alongside Christian, Jewish, and Zoroastrian scholars in translating ancient texts. This cultural fusion contributed to the preservation of classical knowledge, including that of ancient Greece and Rome. Muslim scholars saw the value in preserving and learning from these texts, recognizing the wisdom and insights they contained despite any pagan elements that may have been present. They engaged in a process of critical thinking, questioning, debating, and refining ideas, building upon the knowledge of previous civilizations. Moving on to know. 2. Sharing knowledge. Once translated into Arabic, this ancient knowledge wasn't hoarded, but shared throughout the Muslim world and beyond. Muslim scholars would write commentaries and add their own insights and discoveries to the ancient texts, creating an extensive body of work that built upon classical knowledge. They also established libraries and universities, such as the Nizamiya in Baghdad, which provided spaces for scholars to study and share their findings. For example, the Muslim scholar Al-Khwarizmi, who lived in the 9th century, translated a Greek text on Indian numerals and arithmetic into Arabic. He also developed algorithms for solving linear equations and introduced the concept of zero. His work greatly influenced the development of mathematics. It's not only in the Muslim world, but also in Europe during the Renaissance, when his works were translated into Latin. Muslim scholars also excelled in astronomy. They built observatories and made significant contributions to the understanding of the cosmos. Al-Idrisi, an Arab traveler and geographer from Sicily, created a world map in the 12th century that was based on his own travels and research. The map, known as the Tabula Georgiana, provided a detailed representation of the known world at the time and helped to preserve geographical knowledge from both ancient and contemporary sources. Another famous Muslim astronomer was al-Biruni, who lived in the 10th century. He made important contributions to our understanding of the solar system and the Earth's place in it. He also wrote a book on India, in which he discussed Indian numerals, algebra, and other scientific topics. And finally, we have No. 3. Inspiring Europe. Around the year 1000, Muslim Spain was a flourishing center of science and philosophy, attracting scholars from all over Europe. Many European Christians visited Muslim Spain to study in its renowned universities and libraries. One famous example was Gerard of Cremona, an Italian monk who spent time in Muslim Spain learning Arabic and translating scientific and philosophical texts, including the works of Aristotle and Ptolemy, is credited with having translated over 70 books from Arabic into Latin. These translations played a crucial role in transmitting ancient knowledge to the Europeans. And as European scholars began to rediscover ancient Greek and Roman texts, they built upon the foundations laid by Muslim scholars. The ideas and discoveries of Muslim scientists, philosophers, and mathematicians inspired European thinkers during the Renaissance, contributing to major advancements in various fields. Muslim scholars not only preserved ancient knowledge, but also pushed the boundaries of human understanding, making significant contributions to science, mathematics, astronomy, and philosophy. Their innovative spirit and dedication to scholarship paved the way for future generations of scholars, including those in Europe, to build upon their discoveries and continue the pursuit of knowledge. For example, the Muslim scholar Ibn Sina, also known as Avicenna, wrote the Canon of Medicine in the 11th century, which was a comprehensive medical encyclopedia that became widely used in both the Muslim and Christian worlds. His work contributed to the development of modern medicine and was highly regarded in Europe until the 17th century. Another example is the mathematician Al-Khazini, who lived in the 13th century and wrote a book on the properties of numbers. His work on perfect numbers, that is, numbers whose factors sum up to the number itself, like 6 or 28, influenced later European mathematicians, including Leonhard Euler. In conclusion, Muslim scholars played a pivotal role in preserving ancient Greek and Roman texts, thereby preventing their loss and facilitating their transmission to later civilizations, including the Europeans. Their efforts ensured that these texts, which contained invaluable knowledge and insights, were not forgotten, but rather transmitted to future generations. The preservation of these texts is a testament to the dedication and scholarship of Muslim scholars during the Islamic Golden Age. They recognized the importance of preserving classical knowledge and made every effort to safeguard these texts for future generations. By doing so, they ensured that the wisdom and insights contained in ancient Greek and Roman works were not lost, but rather built upon by later civilizations. Furthermore, the works of Muslim scholars themselves, which often built upon ancient knowledge, were also preserved and transmitted to Europe. This body of work, which included significant contributions to science, mathematics, astronomy, and philosophy, inspired European thinkers during the Renaissance and paved the way for major advancements in various fields. So what do you think? Did you know that Muslim scholars had such a big role in preserving ancient texts? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my videos. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.